right. I believe we are live. Give me just a moment as I push this out to the rest of the socials. Bum, bum, bum. Almost there. Okay. Got all of that there. Hello. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. School is out for summer. Our kids' last day was yesterday. Which today you would think they thought it was like every other day during school because I found out that they woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. Awesome. I wasn't here for it. My wife had to wake up with them, unfortunately. I was up at 5 o'clock so I could play hockey at 6. Like, hockey's the one thing I will get up that early for. My kids, obviously, as well. But had they tried to wake me up at 6 a.m. going, Dad, I'm awake, get me breakfast, I'd be like, get it. You can pour yourself a bowl of Cheerios. You're fine. You'll survive. All right. So with these weekly live streams, as you know, if you've seen a weekly live stream before, I keep it open topic, open Q&A. So if there's anything that you're working on, anything you have a question about, especially in regards to marketing, advertising, or AI, or go high level, whatever, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. I love helping people. Let me know how I can help you. And that keeps the video and the conversations going. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be really useful to just show off some of the things that I do behind the scenes for clients, for businesses, for people. One of the big things that I've been doing for several years, because I've been in marketing for 15 years now, is Facebook advertising, meta advertising, which encompasses Facebook as well as Instagram. Even though there's several other platforms to advertise on, there's LinkedIn, there's Google, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, and there's so many different places to go. But at the same time, Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it now, it's still a really good way to get yourself out there. And it still comes down to who your target audience is. And I don't mean just demographically. A lot of people, you ask them who their target demographic is, and they just get into just demographics. It's females between the ages of 35 and 55. They have this median income or household income, and they work this type of job. They might have a couple of kids, and that's about it. That is like so tip of the iceberg in terms of understanding who your target audience is, that it's not going to get you very far no matter where you're advertising. So what I like to do when I onboard a new client or a new company that I'm working with, I like to know exactly who their core target audience is. Who exactly is their ideal person, going beyond just the demographics and even the psychographics, their interests, things like that. We want to get to know who they are at a deep level, and we want to get to know them as well as we can. And this is also where AI can really come in to help. I have a custom GPT that works very well in identifying who your core target audience is, and it serves you well when it comes to advertising. But at the same time, Facebook also has their own methods of finding the ideal people too. Facebook, they call their algorithm Andromeda. And what that does is, regardless of what kind of budget you have, you could put together an ad. And if you start getting conversions on those ads, or if people start watching a certain percentage of a video of that ad, that tells Andromeda, Facebook's algorithm, people like this find this interesting. They stop scrolling because, as we know, social media's biggest priority is keeping people on their platform as long as possible. That is their number one goal. Keep people on their platform as long as possible. However, Andromeda is going to take a look at your ad and see how well it functions, how well does it operate in keeping people on their platform, and then also how well does it convert. If you have an image ad, a video ad, whichever, or a carousel ad, do people actually stop scrolling, look at it for an extended period of time? And extended can vary between 3 seconds to a couple of minutes, even more than that. But do they stop and consume your content, and then do they take an action? And even if they do take an action, that tells Andromeda's algorithm that this is a good person. This is the type of person that we want to serve ads to, because we want to feed the advertisers advertising success, because they know that long term they're building up that relationship with that advertiser, where if the ads are successful, they're going to spend more money with us. So Facebook wants your ads to be successful. But with a lot of people that I talk to, they get overwhelmed as to the process of setting up their ads, or even the best strategy when it comes to creating their ads, so that way they can get noticed, they can generate leads, and get themselves out there and build their business and build their brand, whomever they're working for. So through the experiences that I've had, through the workshops and the courses and the classes and the coaching that I've gone through, I've been able to develop a pretty successful strategy when it comes to advertising. It's a 3-phase system. The first phase is building awareness. People have to know you exist, right? And you have to start justifying that people, or you have to start understanding that people want whatever it is that you're offering. And you don't even talk about your offer. You're just providing value out there. You just want people to know that you exist. So the first phase is building awareness. The second phase is building trust, which typically comes with providing more value, but sometimes in the way of maybe a free lead magnet, a free PDF, or a download, something that still gives them value, but has them take an action beyond just consuming your content, consuming your ad. And then with the second phase, we only retarget the people who have interacted or have consumed the phase 1 ad. So building awareness, and then in building trust, we want to retarget the people we've built awareness with. And then in doing that, we start building up, we start growing that relationship that we have with our audience. And then a third phase, our third and final phase, is our conversion phase, where that is the call to action. We want them to book a call with us, email us, instant message us, whichever. But that also just retargets the phase 2 people. So now we have them go through 2 different ads. So we're giving them 2 different pieces of content. We're giving them value. We're building that relationship and that trust with them. And then on the third phase, that's when we ask, hey, we've given you value. Do you trust us enough to spend money with us, or at least talk to us and see if we would be a good fit for whatever it is you're offering? So that's, in a very high nutshell, in a very big nutshell, that's the strategy that I use. It's been pretty successful on the campaigns that I've used it for. The biggest caveat is that it requires patience. It absolutely requires patience. And that's been kind of the Achilles heel for some of the clients that I've done this for, where it hasn't gone well, because they've been so impatient. Where after 4 to 6 weeks, they think, okay, it's been a month and a half. How come we haven't seen any results? It's like, well, we're still establishing that relationship. We're building the awareness and the trust. And now and that's about the time we start introducing the conversion ads. So that way they've seen the ad enough times, they trust you enough because you provided value. And now we can start asking them to move along that buyer's journey with us. So I figured for this one, what I'll do for this week is I'll show you how I put together a Facebook ad, and I'll go through the different types that I use the most, just so that way you have it, you can see what it looks like, and we can go from there. So with that, let me get myself down here. That's right. I had my screen already prepared and ready to go. All right. So from here, what we would do, so this is your ads manager dashboard, and how we get there. And I'll show you this too, just so you can see the entire process. We get there by going to business.facebook.com. That will take you to your Meta Business Suite. Meta is the overarching brand name that Facebook and Instagram live under. So Meta Business Suite, that encompasses Facebook as well as Instagram. And so what we do here on the left-hand side, we go to Ads Manager, and then we go down to Campaigns. And that's where we get to our ads dashboard. And then from here, you can see the dashboard. Here's a couple of ads that I've been running under my ad account. You can see there's a bunch of different ad accounts that I'm a part of where I'm helping other people with their ads. Hey, Chris, how you doing? It's hectic here. Oh no. I hope it's going okay. Can you help me with my task for Sunday? Yeah, what is your task for Sunday? Let me know. Give me some details on that, and we can work through that after I get through all of this. Okay. So with this, we have our ads dashboard. And so if we were to create a new ad, we would go to this green button here that says create. And then here we get to choose a campaign objective. And what we choose here is very important because we want to make sure this is our first way of telling Facebook's algorithm what we want this ad to do. Do we want it to build awareness? Do we want it to build traffic? Do we want to get engagement, which means just clicks, which is just likes and shares and comments, or leads, app promotion, or sales? For me, the three that I use the most is awareness, leads, and sales. So just what I talked about, phase 1, building awareness. And then in phase 2, building trust. That's where the leads come in. Because typically here is where I'd have a lead magnet. So some type of free document, a free video, free value of something, but I make them take an action to get it. And typically that's a name and an email address. And then sales, that one's pretty self-explanatory. That's for sales. That's for conversions. We want to drive the person from Facebook to our landing page or our website and take an action, whether that be book a call, sign up for something, purchase something, what have you. So just for the sake of this demonstration, we'll do awareness. So for this would be phase 1 of the whole ad strategy. And then we click continue. And then this is the first part here. So we're under campaign name. As we can see, there's 3, if you're with me up here in the top left, there's 3 levels to building out a complete ad campaign. So the top one here is the campaign side of it. And then the second level is the ad set and then the ad itself. So the campaign, all we really need to look at here is we just want to confirm the buying type. It's an auction, and the campaign objective is awareness. Again, we just want to put ourselves out there, let people know that we exist. And so in the campaign name, this is where for naming convention, I would just put phase 1 and then whatever the ad would be, test ad. And then from there, we're just going to click next. And now we're into the ad set. This is where we start getting into the audience targeting as well as the budget setting here. And then also depending on the objective that you use for your ads, whether that be awareness, leads, or sales. If it's leads or sales, you can set a budget on the campaign level, but for awareness, it's just within the ad set level. So we're under awareness, the performance goal. You have different ones that you can select. You have 5 different options here. If it's an image ad, I typically like to do maximize the reach of the ads. The number of impressions I don't like as much because an impression to Facebook is just how many times it can serve that same ad out to an individual. So the impressions is anytime, even if someone is scrolling really fast, if your ad loads even for that split second while they're scrolling, that counts as an impression. Reach is a little bit better, not a whole lot, but a little bit better because reach is now the individual number of people who've seen your ad. So with impressions, if we go back to the ads dashboard, let me pull this back up just for reference. Go back to campaigns. Here, and while that's loading, I know Chris commented here. Patience is difficult. I had just a week to search for more visitors for an exhibition, and there isn't a budget, so I need to fix it or organically. Oof. Okay, Chris, yeah, we'll talk about that more after I get through this. So in here, we have, let's see, okay. So we have impressions over here on the far right, and then we have reach here. Impressions will always be bigger, but these numbers are misleading because this says So like this one here, this is for a client of mine, Frontline Concrete. Their impressions for this time frame just in the past 30 days was 33,931. But then you look over here to the reach and we get 23,219. There's a big difference. And you think, well, why is there such a big difference? Impressions are the total number of times that your ad was served ever, like total. That's how many times it was served to people on Facebook or Instagram. Reach, however, is the individual number of people who have seen your ad. So that means 23,219 different people saw an ad for Frontline Concrete. And some people saw it multiple times. That's why the impressions number is bigger. Because we also have the frequency category here that says the average number of times each Meta account saw your ad. So some people have only seen it one time. Some people have seen it multiple times. But the total number of times that someone has seen it, that counts as impressions. So if I see their ad 4 times, that counts as 4 impressions, but only 1 reach because I'm only one person. But then we say if you and I have seen the ad each 4 times, that now is 8 impressions, but only 2 reach. So I hope that makes sense. And those are the big differences between the two. So I like to use reach instead of impressions for an image ad just because it means just a little bit more than just impressions. Otherwise, if you have a video ad, which for phase 1, I highly recommend, you can do maximize through play views. And so we can just read the description here. We'll try to show your video ads to people who will watch the entire video when it's shorter than 15 seconds. For longer videos, we'll try to show it to people who are likely to watch at least 15 seconds. To me, that is huge because now we're telling the algorithm, regardless of how short or how long our videos are, they're going to try and find people who are going to watch at least 15 seconds. And that might not seem like much, but on social media, 15 seconds is a long time, a very long time. And especially when we know that the attention span of the average user on social media is 2 to 3 seconds. Like that is how long you have to hook their attention and grab it and keep it. So that way they watch the rest of your content or consume the rest of your content. You have 2 to 3 seconds before they instantly decide if I'm just going to swipe again. So for here, if we maximize through play views, we're now telling Facebook's algorithm, find us people who are more likely to watch at least 15 seconds of a video. So I run the ads for Jonathan Mast. He has a phenomenal AI following. He has a great Facebook group of over 525,000 people. Great guy, great mentor, great teacher. For his phase, so I run all of his ads. For his phase 1 ads, I only use video ads. And typically that's just the videos that he's put out as shorts on YouTube. And then I put that as his phase 1 ads and maximize through play views. Because again, it's going to show it to people who are likely to watch at least 15 seconds, not 2 to 3, but 15 seconds. And then from there, we get into further targeting. And I can go into that in a little bit later, so for this, let's assume we had a video ad. We're going to maximize through play views because now for a through play view, now that tells me not only did I get the person to stop the scroll, but now they've watched at least a chunk of my video. And for a phase 1 video ad, I would recommend a video no longer than 2-3 minutes tops. If you can get it to within a minute, for me, the sweet spot is 1 minute. About 55 seconds to 60 seconds. And I'll explain why once we get back into the dashboard after we do our test ad here. Cost per result goal, don't have to worry about that. Frequency control. So this is the number of times someone can see your ad. Honestly, I like it when I don't set this. I don't set a cap. For a target, you can set a target if you want someone to see your ad more often, you can set this if you'd like, but you typically don't have to. But with frequency, it's just the number of times someone sees the same ad, which most of the time, especially on social media, you want them to see it multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times, because they may not take an action the first time. You especially need to find people who are willing to take an action when they're ready to. And we'll never know when exactly they're ready to. And we can't control when Facebook serves our ad. So them being able to see our ad at least 2 or 3 times increases the odds that they may take an action on it. So for this, I typically leave this alone, but if I was to use frequency control, I wouldn't set a cap on it. I would set a target on it and have it set to at least maybe 3 or 4. Which is kind of funny because I also use AI when I'm producing my ads, especially for ad copy and also data analysis. But it's kind of funny because when I do it with ChatGPT or Gemini, both of them, for whatever reason, both of them are trained that a higher frequency is not good because, if they see it more times and they don't take an action, that's a bad thing. Like, yes and no, because we need to see it more than once to take an action, unless it's from a brand or a person that I very well trust, like Jonathan. If I wasn't running his ads and I see his ad going, as I'm scrolling, I'm like, oh, he's got a new workshop or he's got a new training coming. I'm interested in this. I want to know about this. It may only take me one time of seeing that ad to take an action, but most of the time we're sitting in our beds or we're sitting on our couch or, we're just kind of spacing out as we're scrolling through social media. It may take you 2 or 3 times to be like, oh, that's right, I saw that, but I missed it the last time. I meant to click on it. And so now I'll do it now. So you want people to see it at least a few times. And then next, sometimes you'll get this option called dynamic creative. I used to love this option. Now, not as much because it can be a little restrictive, especially if you like to go back and edit your ads, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. The really nice thing about dynamic creative is that this is basically Facebook's fancy way of saying we will A/B test certain parts of an ad for you to find the best combination of everything and then serve that out as a regular, as a standard ad. So typically that is the ad creative. So either the image or the video or the carousel, the carousel creative, the ad copy. So the text that appears above the creative, the headline, the bold, bigger text that goes just under, and then the description, the smaller, less standout-ish content that goes below in the ad. You can give up to 5 of each of those. So the image or video, the ad copy, the headline, and the description, and it'll mix and match all of that, serve it out to the audience, find the best combination, and then take that and serve that out for the most part to optimize your ad budget as much as possible. But the only thing is that if you turn this on and launch the ad, you're locked in. You can't go back in and change the ad copy, the headline, the creative, anything like that. So, hang on. Next, we have our budget. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can set it up as a daily budget or a lifetime budget. Daily budget is obviously how much you would spend per day. Lifetime budget is how much it would spend throughout the entire life of the campaign. Depending on the campaign, if it's one that doesn't have an endpoint, I like to run a daily budget. Even for me, I have ads going right now for my AI prompt of the day. I don't have an endpoint of when I want this to turn off. So it's just a daily budget, $5 a day, which ends up being about $150 a month. And I just let that run. If there is an end date, typically this is where you would do a lifetime budget. And then here you can set the hard end date of wherever you want it to end. You can do a specific time. You can do standard time here, or you can do a custom and tell it exactly when you want these to end. Just be very aware of the month, because sometimes I've run ads that are only meant to go for a week, and this defaults to the next month. So if I went from June 5th and we wanted to end this June 12th, if I were to just turn my brain off and space out, I might hit, the 12th here, not realizing that it's July 12th and not June 12th. I've done that a few times. Learn from my mistakes. So that's how you can set that up. Budget scheduling, you don't really need to tinker with that. Ad scheduling, I don't tinker with that either. Audience controls. This is probably the biggest part of the ad outside of putting the ad together itself, the ad creative and the ad copy. So here, this is where you can start getting into the locations. So you can go as broad as countries. You can edit and you can add more. So if I want to do like all of Europe in here, I can type in Europe and the entire region of Europe. So now we have Europe and we have the US. You can even add in, if you want to do geo-targeting and get super granular on things, you can also do that as well. So like for me, I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I can type in Grand Rapids, the city, and here you can do within a radius of Grand Rapids. So I can go as little as 10-mile radius, and I can see how much of the map that covers. I can go as big as 50 miles. And if that's not big enough, that's where you would just add another city and then add that as well. So if I wanted to get more of, so this is West Michigan. If I wanted to get more on the east side as well, if I wanted to cover the whole, basically wanted to cover the whole bottom half of the lower peninsula here, I would probably do Flint, Michigan, and then beef that up to 50 miles. And then we've got most of it covered there. I'd probably do maybe another one like around Jackson or Albion, something like that, just to cover more of the bottom here. But then you can see this area is the only area where your ads will be served. So if you're a local market or a local business, this is very, very valuable for you. If you want to get even more granular than this, you can also go by zip code. So for this, let's just put in this one. Here's the zip code. And it can be just that zip code. So if 10 miles is even too big of a radius for you, you can even go by zip code, and it can hyper target just to that zip code. And you can add in multiples of these. The really nice thing is that you can also, you can add locations in bulk, which has saved me before, because I worked for, I had a client who was a perfumery, and they wanted to cover a massive part of around Dallas, Texas, because they're going to do a big launch, or not a big launch, excuse me. They're going to do a big conference and be a part of it. But they wanted to let everyone around that area know that, hey, we're going to be here. We're going to have a presence here. Come talk to us. So they had a laundry list of about 100 to 150 zip codes. And thank God for the ad locations in bulk, because I could just import it that way through a CSV spreadsheet, made everything super easy, and got it done that way. So that's where the location targeting comes in. And then here's where we get into further targeting. So minimum age for an awareness ad. And this is something, honestly, I found out not too long ago. For an awareness ad, you can set the minimum age all the way up to 25, which doesn't feel like much, but because it's an awareness ad or an awareness campaign, it's super cheap. I wouldn't worry if your core target audience is beyond this. If, let's say, your core target audience is 35 and up, or even 45 and up, set it as 25, because that's the highest you can go on the minimum age. And then just make sure in your ad copy, you are crystal clear calling out people 45 and up, people 35 and up. Have your ad copy work as a filter for those people. So that way, if someone 25 to 30 sees your ad and they see your call out of, hey, people 45 and up, they're going to instantly scroll, and that tells the algorithm this is not the person for this ad. And then if enough people do that, then the Facebook's algorithm then understands, okay, we're not going to serve this to these younger people because they're obviously not consuming this ad. We don't want to serve this to them. We want to serve it to the older people that are 45 and up, because these are the people who are actually responding because you called them out in the ad copy. So just a little tip there. Next, what we can do, let's see. What was I going to do? Lost my train of thought. Oh yes, here we go. So, the Advantage Plus audience. This is kind of weird because I'm not a huge fan of Advantage Plus. It's Meta's terminology of like, let our AI help you. Let our algorithm help you. And you're like, I like having full control over my ads. So with this, under the Advantage Audience section, we can click that button I just clicked. And if you have a custom audience, this is where you can include it. So the nice thing about this is that with the custom audience, you're not just targeting just those people in your custom audience, but you're telling Facebook's algorithm, find me other people similar to this group and use this as a reference point to serve my ads. So as it says here, we'll automatically show ads to people most likely to respond. We'll show ads to people matching your suggestion and other audiences when it's likely to improve performance, which is good. We want that. And this is where you can get more selective on the age range, as we can see here. But also the custom audience is very useful, because if you have if you have like an email list, or if you have the Metapixel already installed on your website, if you don't, I highly recommend it. Even if you're not running ads right now, put the Pixel on there so it can capture that traffic and data, so that when you do run ads, you already have a history of traffic of people who have visited your website, and you can use that as your custom audience, retarget those people, and that tells Facebook, hey, I'm going to find more people who act and behave similar to these people who have gone to their website, and serve ads to them as well. So, just a moment. Someone's at our door. Pause. Door-to-door salesman in our neighborhood, where in the entrance it says no soliciting. Anyway, hey James, let's see. Advantage Plus is what Meta thinks they should advertise to, and sometimes that isn't done the best ways. Yep. So you're spending ad money for AI to guess what they think your audience should be. I usually turn it off. As you said, I want full control. Yeah. So I don't like how they word it. Name it. There we go. Words are, it's Friday. Our Lord Savior Jesus Christ. Not today. I got a live stream to do. No, they want to know if we got, if we're happy, no, if we needed kitchen upgrades and stuff. She's like, are you interested in kitchen upgrades or ever? And I just lied to them and said, nope, got it done a couple years ago. I'm like, even your countertops, everything, go away. Just leave me alone. I got stuff to do. Yeah, so the Advantage Plus audience, I don't like how they name this here, because this is still a very important section to pay attention to. So just because it says Advantage Plus audience doesn't mean that you should just push it off to the side and forget about it. This is still a very important section to pay attention to. So again, the custom audiences are super useful, because this is basically where you can drive the audience, or drive the algorithm to say, focus on these people and people similar to this. So again, if you have an email list, doesn't matter how big or how small, you can upload it into Meta's audiences. And how you do that is on the left side here, you go to audiences. I'm just going to right click and open a link in a new tab. Let this load. And then I would do create an audience, custom audience. And then my source would be website. Right? No, I'm sorry. Customer list. It'd be a customer list, because we're going to have it as a CSV Excel spreadsheet. And then this is how to prepare the list. It just tells you what format to make sure your spreadsheet's in. And then here's where you would upload your spreadsheet. And then it'll have you verify everything, make sure that, like first name is for the first name people, and the last name is everyone's last name. Email address is email address, so on and so forth. Email address is the most important part, because the only way it can properly tie it back to that person is if they use that email address for their Facebook profile as well. That's the only way. But the other nice thing is that you can create a custom list off of website activity. So if you're driving traffic, or if your website does get traffic, if you have the Metapixel on there, then it captures that, and you can say website, and it goes, okay, which website? And so for me, let's just do get social done pixel, all website visitors in the past 180 days. And then the audience name would just be GSD website, and then I can tell it create audience. And then anyone who has gone to my getsocialdone.com website, if they were logged into Facebook while they visited my website, Metapixel captures that, and now I can retarget them, which is super useful. So if you don't have the Metapixel installed, it is super easy to do. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. It's free. Put it on there now. Even if you're not running ads right now, it's still very useful. So going back to this. So under the Advantage Plus audience, again, custom audiences, you can put the age range in here, genders, detailed targeting. This is where you can get more into demographics, interests, and behaviors. So this is where you can get more targeted. So if I wanted to focus on entrepreneurs, this is where I could put in here entrepreneurs, and I get a whole bunch of different options. The one thing I would say to pay attention to most is how it's categorized here. If it's an interest or a job title, there is a difference. You want to make sure that you're focusing on the right people for what it's for. So if I wanted to find entrepreneurs who actively say in their profile, in their job title, that they're an entrepreneur, I would go job titles. Typically, if I wanted to get in front of entrepreneurs, I would just do entrepreneurship as an interest, because that's going to go, as you can see, the list size is much greater than just the job title. So even people who are interested in entrepreneurship or follow people who are interested in entrepreneurship, that they could still get served my ad. And then ad transparency, we typically don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about that. Placements. This, if you're running an ad for a first time, don't worry about placements. This is where you get to customize where your ad shows up on Facebook and or Instagram. After you've run a couple of ad campaigns, then you can look at what placements have done well for you. And then you can start getting granular on this. So for now, with this, I would just let Meta do its thing and just say, hey, throw it out there, find what works, and then we can go back to that later. So now that we have that all set, we have our budget set up, we have our audience set up, now we get to create the actual ad. So up here is the ad name. The Facebook page, make sure that it is the page that you intend to advertise from. I've also done that once or twice where because I have different clients, I have access to different Facebook pages. And sometimes when I first launch it, it's like, oh, I'm going to post it from this one, but I meant to do it from that one. It's easy to make mistake, very easy to make mistakes. So just be aware of that. Instagram profile, Threads profile. These will just, even if you don't have an Instagram or if you don't have one linked to your Facebook page, that's okay. This will just still use your brand from the Facebook side and pull that into your Instagram ads. So no big deal there. Ad setup, we are creating one. You can use an existing post if you want to, but for the most part, 9 times out of 10, you're going to create an ad. So just leave that alone there. Multi-advertiser ads. Your ad can appear with others in the same ad unit to help promote discoverability. Your ad creative may be resized or cropped. Basically, this means you may share advertising space with someone else who is advertising. But for me, I see that as it's another opportunity to get seen by someone outside of my advertising parameters. And you never know. So I like to leave that on just in case, because sometimes your ads can surprise you. Ad creative. This is where you set up the actual ad. So here you click this, and because I set it up as maximizing for through play views, my only option here is a video ad, because through play only applies to videos. If I had said optimize for the reach of the ads, then I would have an option here between image ad and a video ad. But again, I chose only through play views. So the only option I have here is a video ad. And then here is where I can either select a video that I've already uploaded, or I can upload one from my computer and pick something here from the various videos that I have. And then I can use this as the ad. So just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to pick this one here. This is from, I think, last year. This is an ad I put together. Trimming the video if you need to. Typically, I already have my video ready to go, so I don't have to worry about this. So I just hit skip and continue. And then the media crop for placements. Now this one, especially with image ads, it will try sometimes and do the recommended one. But as you can see, that doesn't always look good. So for me, even if you have the negative space, which you can see here, I still do original because I want them to see the whole thing in its entirety. If that means there's negative space, there's negative space. Because for the most part, the end user is going to be interested on the content the ad is giving them, not can they see my face? And let's be honest, no one needs to see my face that close up. No one. So here I set those to original and then I hit next. This is where I can put in the primary text. This is your ad copy. So this would be ad copy. And then as we can see, primary text 1 of 5. If you would like, you can add up to 4 additional options, and then Meta can cycle those through and see which ad copy connects the best and gets you the most results. And then whichever one it starts getting some results from, it's going to favor that one over all the others. So just be aware of that. Adding a destination, that's if you're going to send them to a website link or not. Because for me and how I set up my ads, it's a phase 1 awareness ad. There isn't a call to action. It's just providing value, providing insight, providing knowledge. I turn this off. Otherwise, you can leave it on and then you get to do the headline and description. But because we're not sending them anywhere, it doesn't offer me the headline and description. That's okay. I'm just trying to get the brand out there. So we click done there, and then I have my previews of what they look like. It even tells me here, ad is undeliverable to Instagram Explorer Home just because of the resolution of the ad. I'm like, that's okay. I don't mind. There's our primary text. We can edit that some more if we'd like, or add another option here. Let's see. And then for the rest of this tracking, we want to do website events just in case they go over to our website. We want to make sure that we have the right pixel selected, so it's collecting the right data for that right brand. So I have Frontline Concrete Solutions. This is another client. I don't want my traffic attributed to their pixel. I want it to attribute it to my pixel, so that way it's my audience. And then we're all good to go. And then I can hit publish, and the ad goes live. And that's the easiest way to do an awareness campaign. For through-play views, I find these are the cheapest, least expensive ads that you can do just to build awareness. For one client who's it's Jonathan Mast, his ads, his phase 1 ads, because part of it is because he's very well known, he's very active on Facebook, but also because we've been running these phase 1 ads and cycling through and updating the videos every few weeks. His videos so we get charged every through play view, every 15-second video view that someone watches, we have it down to a 1/10 of a penny for one 15-second view, which is, you think about it, you're like, that's insanely cheap to push awareness out there to get him in front of people. A 1/10 of a penny to guarantee that someone watched at least 15 seconds of his video. So again, you want to build cheap, inexpensive awareness for your brand. And it's also not just inexpensive awareness, but a retargeting audience. You're building a retargeting audience that you can retarget later because of those video views. A 1/10 of a penny. Even if it's 5/10 of a penny, it is still insanely cheap. It is very inexpensive to get video views on Facebook, which is nice. So with that, so we've launched the ads. Let's understand a bit more on the dashboard side of things. So we have our dashboard here. I have a couple of ads here. This is my clients. This is my AI prompt of the day sign up that I have. And I have this as a phase 2, not a phase 1. I have this as a phase 2 because I'm asking them to actively sign up. So actually this could be considered a phase 3 because it is a conversion ad, but this is free. It's completely free to sign up for the AI prompt of the day emails. So that falls into the phase 2 category because we're building trust. I'm giving something away for free, but I'm asking for information back. But for this one here, I'll let you see what this one looks like. So we'll go to the campaign level. Is the phase 2 a lead type ad? Yes. Yep. So phase 1 is awareness. Phase 2 is lead. Phase 3 is conversion or sales, as Facebook will call it. So as we can see here, phase 2, the campaign objective is lead. I can't have it give me the description. That'd be too easy, but that's okay. So the objective is a lead, which basically tells Facebook, find me people who are most likely to take an action on my Facebook ads, which is primarily giving me their information, name and email. Okay. Because I only have one ad set. You can have multiple ad sets per campaign, but for the most part, you'll only need one ad set. So I have it set to a campaign budget. It's a daily budget of just $5 a day. Again, super easy on the campaign side. Now we click down into the ad set level here. And we have, so the conversion location, it's at a website. The performance goal is maximizing the number of conversions, so generating leads. The data set, we want to aim back to the pixel. The conversion is a lead, not a sale. And then as we get through here, the audience here, I kept it to the United States. And then the suggested audience, again, will reach people beyond these settings when it's likely to improve performance, but I can still guide the algorithm going, find me people who are similar to this. So I built an email list off of ZoomInfo and also created a lookalike audience based on these people. So that way, not only are these emails people who are in entrepreneurship and they're interested in AI, but then with the lookalike audience, Facebook then goes and finds other people that I haven't connected with who act and behave similar to the people on this email list, and I can target those people as well. And I set that up for my targeting, and then that's good there. And then we get into the individual ads themselves. And so for this one, I'm testing different images. And so that's why I have 5 different ads here. So I've got 1 is this one here. 2 is a different image. 3 is a different image, but everything else stays the same. The ad copy, the headline, the description, everything else stays the same because this lets me know the one thing that's different, whatever ad works better, I fully know why. There's no guessing as to what makes this ad better than the other. This one, I clearly know that it's the image why this one's working better because everything else is the same. So we have all of this. I have different pieces of ad copy, but every single ad has the same ad copy selections to choose from. And then I have my pixel done here, and that's that. So with that, we can see here in the ad side of it, because we have our tabs here, we have the campaign level, ad set level, and then ads level. Under ads, we have the different ads here. In the past 30 days, these 3 ads, 2, 3, and 4, didn't do much. I got 1 person that signed up to my prompt of the day email, and the other 2 didn't do any, so I turned those off. Like, those guys are done, whatever. These 2, however, these 2 do generate enough leads, enough signups. But one thing to note here is that this one costs more. It spent more on this one to get 10 leads. It spent twice as much to get 10 leads for this one than it does for this one. Actually, I thought I turned this one off, but I guess I didn't. So I'm actually going to turn this off because it takes less money to get a sign up for this one. So that's the one I want to keep going. Because again, similar reach, impressions doesn't show up here. I need my custom one. There it is. So somewhat similar impressions, very similar reach, but the cost to have someone sign up is vastly different. And that's what makes this one the instant winner. So this image here beat out this one because I spend half as much to get someone to sign up. So, and the other nice thing that you can look at too, to really see the effectiveness of it, link clicks. So how many times people clicked over to your website. So it took 22 link clicks to get 10 people to sign up on this one. It took 31 for the other. So this one converts at almost a 50% conversion rate. This one is about a 33% conversion rate. Obviously the 50% is higher and that's what we want to go with. So again, another reason why this one is the higher performing ad, and that's why we go with that one. So, all right. I only have a couple minutes left because I got another meeting I have to jump to, but James, I see you have another question here. Do you put every ad on the same meta pixel? Yes. Because that's going to be the meta pixel. You only need to create one of them. And then Meta can keep all of that information together for your brand or your business. Creating multiple pixels. I haven't seen a use case where that would make sense to have multiple pixels. So I just like to have one. But then that way, because especially if you only have one website, then you only need a pixel for that brand and that website. And that way, all of the traffic that it generates stays there, and then you can retarget those people. And to me, it just makes life easier that way. So, all right. So that's how to create a meta ad. I've shown you the awareness side of it. There's the lead side of it. What about using them for different companies? Yes. So for different companies, you would want to create a different pixel per company or per brand. And I can show you that real quick. So if you want to set up a meta pixel, what you would do here is go into Events Manager. And then what we would do is connect data is how you would do that. So overview here, you can see the different data sets that I have. The Get Social Done pixel is obviously mine. The Frontline Concrete Solutions, that's the one I created for my other client that I'm operating through my ad account, because they paid me their ad budget. So the ad budget comes off of my credit card, not theirs, but they already gave me the ad budget. So that's why I've created their pixel. And we made sure that this was put on their website. This one's put on my website. And that way we're able to differentiate the two. So, but yeah, if you wanted to create one, it's super easy to do. You go to Events Manager, you go to Connect Data. And then for this type of example, we would do web. You hit next. Data set, we would create a new one. And then the name of it, you name it whatever you would like. That's then going to create the ID that you see here. And then I can't show it here or else it's going to create a new one. I just don't want to do that. But it would create the ID, and then you have an option to install the pixel manually. You want to do that. It's going to give you a line of code. And actually, I can show you what that looks like real quick here. I got one more minute, then I got to go. It's going to look like this whole thing here, but it has your ID number right here. All you have to do is copy and paste that into your head tracking code, whether it be in Go High Level or WordPress or whatever you use to host your website. Put that in the head tracking code. It doesn't disrupt anything. It's free. It's easy to use. And then that way your Metapixel can start capturing your traffic so you can use it for whatever you would like to when it comes time to run ads. So that's it when it comes to meta ads for now. If you'd like me to go deeper on this, let me know. I can make that next week's topic. Otherwise, for now, I hope you guys have a great Friday and a good weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.